Are you able to hear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Okay.
Yes, sir, we can.
I was giving you an idea about the optional public administration.
Yes, sir. You reached till organization chapter.
Oh, yes. You remember organizations, where you will have to learn theories, systems, etc. relating to organizations. That you have to deal in a detailed manner. Very important chapter, organizations. Then the fifth chapter is about accountability and control. Modern administration is based on accountability and control. Therefore, that they have included in the UPSC, by the UPSC in the chapter public administration first paper. That I will be dealing accountability and control. Then you are finding a chapter called administrative law. Law relating to the activities of administrators, how to make them answerable to the. Hello? You are able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Therefore, administrative law is a very important aspect of administration because the activities of the officials must be governed by certain prescribed rules, regulation, procedures, and they must act accordingly. Therefore, they have included as a chapter administrative law. Then a very important topic is comparative public administration. In the civil service examination, they put a question. It is better to say comparative public administration rather than public administration. Public administration relates to a single country. Comparative public administration involves a cross-cultural and cross-national study. The administrative structure and behavior of officials, etc., are being compared with those of another country. Then only you can improve. You can improve your administration in a particular country by comparing it with the other countries. That is nowadays very significant, comparative public administration. Then comes a major topic, development dynamics. If you are put a question, what is the variety of administration? Then you say modern administration is development administration. Not simply collecting revenues, not simply maintenance of law and order, but the development of the country is the major concern of the government. And modern administration is generally called development administration. At the local level, at the district level, at the state level, at the national level. Development constitutes something very important, and that is why they have included a chapter called development dynamics. Then we are finding yet another major topic, personal administration. You are aware that civil service depends on the recruitment of the right persons to the service. Right persons to the service can be recruited only by a scientific technology. That is why one writer would say recruitment is the cornerstone of civil service. Correct persons are correctly measured and selected for appointment. Personal administration is something a very important topic. Then comes public policy. Public policy is the policy evolved by the government for the welfare of the people. Economic policy, for example, or foreign policy of our country with other countries, or nuclear policy, agriculture policy, industrial policy. All these things are essentially important for running administration. Then we are having the 11th chapter, techniques of administrative improvement. In order to improve the administrative structure and the processes, there are adapted, evolved major techniques including information technology. Our administration is improved further by the purpose of, by the instrument of information technology. Nowadays very popular, you are aware. Then finally the first paper contains the last chapter, 12th chapter, financial administration. That is the preparation of the budget, presentation of the budget in the parliament, passing the budget, and then implementation of the budget. That is what is called financial administration. That is the first paper, totally 12 chapters. Then you are able to hear now? You
Yes,
are
sir.
able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Because
sir.
otherwise, I am unable to communicate. Unless you are telling that you are hearing, I can continue. Paper 2 is Indian administration. I am telling the paper 2 also here because first paper is pure theory. That is relating to administration everywhere in the world. Administration is a universal activity. As it is a universal activity applicable to all countries irrespective of the continent. It is there in the USA, in the European continent, in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, everywhere it is there. But when we are coming to the second paper, which is purely 10% concerned with India, Indian administration. Indian administration is composed of 14 chapters. Number one is evolution of Indian administration, starting from Kaudilya's Arthasastra. You must be aware that of all the books available on administration, the original, the first book on public administration was that of Arthasastra of Kaudilya. Even though we call Woodrow Wilson as the father of the discipline public administration, even before a very long period, Kaudilya has written the great book called Arthasastra that constitutes the basic book of public administration. But still, as it is an Indian book and it was not written in English, it could not get universal acceptance. That is the reason why in the 19th century, when Woodrow Wilson wrote a book called Introduction to Public Administration, that received much importance. Whatever may be, we have to start in the Indian administration paper with Kaudilya. That is what is the evolution of Indian administration. The second chapter on the second paper is philosophical and constitutional framework of government. How Indian government is run. You are aware that we are having a constitution. That constitution contains the preamble or introduction or the preface. The preamble tells clearly the philosophical background of our government. India shall be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. India shall work for individual liberty. India will work for integrity of the country. All these things constitute the background of our constitution. Therefore, when we learn Indian administration, what is the background of the constitution also you must be aware. Because once they put a question in the UPSC paper, examine the constitutional structure of Indian administration. Indian administration's background is provided by the constitution. Therefore, you must be aware of the constitutional framework of the country in order to know administration also. Then you are having a topic called number 3, public sector undertakings. Public sector undertakings, government companies, corporations. You are aware that in the modern times, there is a tendency of corporatization of government departments. A department implies the government acts for the purpose of the people, but it is made into a business type organization through making it a corporation. The first corporation emerged in the United States in 1930s. Later it became a very great idea, and in the modern times, many countries have adapted the principle of corporatization of government department. That is, private sector techniques are adapted for running government. Therefore, public sector undertakings is very important. Public sector is important in India. In order to satisfy the needs of the people, there must be public sector along with the private sector. India, you are aware that since 1991, adapting an economic policy of liberalization, more importance is attached to the private sector. But government sector continues to be so because it is owned by the people. It is meant for the general welfare of the people. Therefore, there must be public sector along with private sector. There is no doubt about that. They are telling about that. Then comes the fourth chapter, union government and administration. Union government. You are aware what do you mean by government? Government means the mechanism of a country, a society, a state in order to enact laws, implement those laws, and to punish those who violate those laws. To make law, to execute that.
Sir, no audio.
So you're muted, sir. Can you please unmute?
Sir, no audio. Not audible.
Sir, not audible.
So it's still muted.
Yeah, I think they're working on the issue.
Now it is all right.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Yeah.
Now let me continue.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Union government and administration, we will have to learn the government of India's functioning, the parliament, the president, the vice president, prime minister, other ministers, then the Supreme Court, all these things we will have to study under the area of union government and administration, a very important topic, which is useful for your general studies also. When you learn union government and administration in the public admission paper, you can apply it to general studies also. Then plans and priorities. You are hearing? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You are able to
Yes,
hear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Plans and priorities. Plans and priorities. India, after the dismantling of the planning commission, even though a planning commission is not there, government has to prepare its own activity for 1 year. In that way, they are implementing programs. Plans and priorities are even now an important topic. They included earlier, even after the demolition of planning commission, it continues to be so. Anyway, that is a chapter included in our paper. Then comes chapter number 6 in the second paper, state government and administration. Government in the state. In our own state, Kerala, there is a government which is composed of the governor, the chief minister and other ministers, the state legislative assembly, then the high court constituting the state government. The activities of the state government we'll have to study in detail. Not only the governmental structure, but the day-to-day administration. How administration goes on in Kerala. Every state in India, all the states are having their own administrative structure. How does it function? You will have to learn. Then the nucleus of Indian administration is the district administration. District constitutes the nucleus, and the district collector is the kingpin of Indian administration. More than 680 districts are there in India. Each district constitutes the nucleus for carrying on administrative activity. The programs of the union government, the programs of the state government are implemented in the geographical unit of district. That is something important they included in the paper in district administration, particularly after independence. Suppose we are put a question. Hello? District administration.
Yes, sir.
Suppose we are put a question, what are the activities of the district collector now? We will immediately say collection of revenues, maintenance of the police, and development of the district. These are the activities of the modern district collector since independence. But before independence, if you see, you find the district collector was concerned only with two activities, revenue collection and maintenance of the law and order. Development was not a concern of the old government, the British government. But in the modern times, development also constitutes a major ingredient of district administration. Therefore, we will have to learn district administration. There is a very important chapter. When you go through the earlier question papers, when you are preparing for civil service examination, you must go through the 10 years question papers so up to now. Then you will find what are the varieties of the question they are asking. They would put a question, the district collector is not alone. The district collector is not alone. They asked a question in the civil service paper, by which you will have to tell about the activities of the district officials, then about the district collector's office, then about the NGOs, non-governmental organizations involved in the implementation of the programs of the government. Therefore, that is something very important chapter in the second paper. Then we find civil services in India. Civil services, the constitutional provisions are there. Articles 309 to 320 deal with civil services in India. Part 14 of the Constitution deals with the civil services. recruitment of persons in the All India services, central services, then the state services, all are explained in part 14 of the Constitution. Constitutional provisions are there regarding civil services. Therefore, civil services constitute a major topic. In the first paper, we learned personal administration. In the second paper, Indian administration, we specially learned civil services, its functioning. As particularly you preparing for civil service examination, you must be aware about the functioning of civil services in India. That is there. Then comes financial management. In India, how the budget is being prepared, what is the technique for the preparation of the budget, what are the varieties of budget, and the Indian budget is prepared and presented in the parliament, and how it is being implemented. After the passing of the parliament, the officials, the Union Finance Ministry. The Union Finance Ministry is the agency for implementing budget. You will have to study. Then comes administrative reforms since independence. Administration has to be improved by forming the administrative reforms commissions. So far, two major administrative reforms commissions, 1966, 68 and 2000. One commission was headed by Morarji Desai. Second commission was, the person who retired as the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Veerappa Moily, the second Administrative Reforms Commission. You will have to study thoroughly Administrative Reforms Commission because they often ask questions. Then we are finding rural development. India means a country of villages. More than 5.8 lakhs villages are there in India. More than 5.8 lakhs villages are there now in India. In these villages, how to ensure development? For that matter, the passing of by the parliament two important laws, constitutional amendments, 73rd Amendment, 74th Amendment, the Panchayat Raj Act, Nagarapalika Act, they often ask questions in the general studies in public administration paper. Panchayat Raj Act 1992, Nagarapalika Act 1992, the 11th schedule, the 12th schedule, 11th schedule of the Constitution, Panchayat Raj Act 1992, 12th schedule, Nagarapalika Act 1992, included in the Constitution of India. These two are very important for understanding first rural development, then city administration. Nagarapalika Act is meant for city administration, town administration. Therefore, we have to learn rural development, particularly reference to Panchayat Raj Act, 73rd Amendment. Then we are finding urban local government. Urban local government, municipalities and corporations. In India, functioning of the municipalities and corporations are determined by the Nagarapalika Act passed by the parliament through the 74th Amendment 1992. These two amendments we must make thorough. And generally in our classes, we make the candidates to understand these two amendments inevitably. Then we are finding law and order administration. Law and order administration is police administration in India. For a very long time, the Police Act framed by the British in 1860 constituted the background of the present police force in India. So many commissions were appointed by the government of India. Police commission, first police commission, second police commission. In that way, they appointed in order to improve the activities, make the police force efficient. They are concerned with the law and order, how to preserve peace and tranquility in the society. For that matter, police is something very important. Therefore, they have included a separate chapter, law and order administration. And particularly in the modern times, criminalization of politics is also there. How to deal with it? The society is faced with the law and order situation often. How to deal with it? The police force must be very efficient in order to ensure the welfare of the people, security of the people. And ultimately, they are having the 14th chapter, significant issues in Indian administration. Significant issues in Indian administration, particularly concerned with the value in public service. Public service must have certain values, serving the people's interests, the interests of the people. Then for that matter, the functioning of regulatory commissions, especially National Human Rights Commission, problems of administration in coalition politics, citizen administration interface, corruption in administration, and ultimately disaster management. Therefore, these 14 chapters are concerned with the purely Indian side, Indian administration only. But more important, you want to know about the theories of administration. If you score more marks in the theory paper, you will find it second paper easy. Second paper is not so difficult. First paper alone. For that matter, normally I spend a lot of time for the first paper. A candidate must be very thorough. At Delhi Senators, they give more importance to first paper only. Second paper, the candidate is asked to read and understand. Very easy to understand. But the first paper requires theory formulation and how to understand these theories. Anyway, having told the essence of the chapters, let me give you an idea of administration as such. You must first know administration as such. Along with that, I will tell you the leading important books for your immediate learning. I will suggest a few books so that you will understand the essentials of administration from these books. For the time being, I am listing out 6 or 7 books for your initial reading. Then you will understand other books later. Now let me point out first chapter is introduction. A candidate, in order to know the theories of administration, most important chapters are the first 4 chapters. That is the life of the paper. The life of the public administration theory paper is the first 4 topics or chapters, namely introduction, administrative thought, administrative behavior, and organizations. Whether you are aware of the term administration, where from it originated, what is its essential meaning? The term administration, as we are using in English, emerged as the composition of 2 Latin words, ad plus ministerial, ad plus ministerial, ad plus ministrare, which means to get things done. Administration means to get things done, to carry out affairs, to attend to matters, can also be interpreted as its meaning. Administration means you carry out activities so that the goal is achieved. You prepare a goal. You set an objective, how to achieve that objective. Administration is the technique for achieving those objectives. Anyway, the term administration is used in 3 angles. 1 as an activity, 2 as a discipline, and 3 as a profession. 1 as an activity, 2 as a discipline, 3 as a profession. As an activity, the term administration is time immemorial. The term administration is time immemorial as an activity. Which was the first administrative activity recorded in human history? What was the first activity carried on by the people of the ancient period? The first activity carried on by human beings, for example, in the Indus Valley civilization, or the Egyptian civilization, or the Mesopotamian civilization, agriculture they wanted to carry on by taking the water from the distant rivers. By canalizing the waters from the rivers, they brought the water to a distant area for the purpose of agriculture. Agriculture, and for that matter irrigation, was the first administrative activity carried on by many persons together. Many persons putting their energy together carried the waters from a distant river, running river, and brought the water to a distant place and did it for the purpose of agriculture. And that was the first administrative activity recorded in human history, irrigating the land. But later, in the modern times, administration is also used in order to indicate as a discipline. And the term administration as a discipline became current in the United States when Woodrow Wilson, he was a professor of political science in the Princeton University. Later, during the First World War, the President of the United States of America, he wrote a book called Introduction to the Study of Public Administration, published in the year 1887. published in the year 1887. That is important. The year is important because actually the modern subject matter of public administration originated in the year 1887. And the evolution of public administration as a discipline received maximum importance in the context of United States. So there are so many reasons why public administration as a discipline or a subject is associated with the United States. Now in the year 1887, Woodrow Wilson, writing a book called Introduction to the Study of Public Administration, started the idea of administration developing as a very important study among the subjects matter of colleges and universities. 1887, the subject started. It passed through 5 stages. Evolution of public administration is a major topic in the first chapter, introduction. In the introduction chapter, we learn the meaning of the word administration. How does it distinguish between public administration and private administration? What is its significance? And how it evolved. Evolution is important, especially the 4th stage and the 5th stage of the subject matter discipline development is very important. Now, as its meaning, it denotes carrying out the affairs, looking after matters, to attend to matters. All these things are associated with the administration. That administration can be further developed as public administration and private administration. When I say administration is public, when the governmental machinery is involved, whatever being done by the government, whatever is done by the government is an aspect of public administration. Public administration in the sense that the activities are carried out by the governmental machinery, legislature or executive or judiciary, they constitute the government machinery. That governmental machinery carries out any activity you call simply public administration. If on the other hand, it is carried on by a private company, private persons, you call it private administration. Government administration is always meant for the welfare of the total people. Its scope is elaborate. It touches every human being living in a state, and therefore public administration is primarily concerned with the welfare of the people. Then you are finding the private administration also, which is carried on by the private companies. It must be distinguished. Public administration must be distinguished from private administration. And that we are dealing with this one. Then we are finding evolution, I was telling you. Evolution of public administration in the USA became important because of the support given by, private companies, scholars, professors, and the government. All wanted to develop the subject. Therefore, since 1967, you are finding a very fast growth of the subject matter of public administration in the United States of America. Its stages of evolution, public administration subject evolved in the United States mostly. Of course, it was there in France. Public administration is there everywhere in the world. In India, it is there. In People's Republic of China, it is there. In France, it is there. Germany, it is there. In England, it is there. In Russia, it is there everywhere. But the subject received maximum development or maximum innovations only in the US. For that matter, the government carried out many activities through its departments, through the universities, in order to evolve the subject to a more higher growth. Now you find the 5 stages you will have to learn. The first chapter is important. We will have to learn the evolution through the 5 stages. Number 1, first stage is called the era of politics administration dichotomy. Politics administration dichotomy, 1887 to 1926. Era is important. 1887 to 1926, the first stage in the evolution of public administration in the US. It is called the era of administration politics dichotomy. Because Wilson originally thought that politics and administration both deal with the state and government. When I say politics, I deal with the state and government. When I say administration, then also I deal with the state and government. What is the subtle difference? What is the difference between politics and administration? Politics is concerned with the policy formulation. Politics is concerned with the policy formulation, whereas administration is concerned with the policy execution. One is concerned with the formulation, the other is concerned with the execution. There is a subtle difference between the two. We must not mix them together. Even though outwardly it seems that both politics and administration are doing the same activity, exactly they are not doing the same activity. There is a subtle difference. Woodrow Wilson wanted to say that. You must not mix politics with administration. Administration is purely of officials appointed for their merit. Whereas policymakers, politicians, ministers are elected by vote bank politics. Therefore, there is a slight difference between the two. Anyway, Woodrow Wilson was telling about politics, administration, seemingly together with a subtle difference. That was the stage 1887 to 1926. I must say one major point. In the year 1926, L.D. White, a well-known American administrative thinker, he issued a book called Introduction to the Study of Public Administration, 1926. That was the first textbook written for the students in the United States by a professor in the year 1926. That is something very important, textbook. The second stage is the era of principles of administration. The era of principles of administration you find in the second stage, which started from 1927 to 1937. 1927 to 1937. It witnessed the issue of few books explaining the principles of administration. We love to study. Normally, when you learn the subject of public administration, even though it is not included in our syllabus, in the main syllabus, they have not included, but there is an important area. What are the principles of administration? There are 10 principles of administration. Number 1, organization. Number 2, hierarchy. Number 3, span of control. Number 4, supervision. Number 5, authority and responsibility. Number 7, delegation. Number 8, coordination. Centralization and decentralization. Line, staff and auxiliary, authority and responsibility. Like that, the 10 principles constitute the essence of administration. When you want to carry on administration, you must be aware of the 10 principles. I shall explain to the class. In the class, I normally explain these 10 principles, even though not included in the syllabus. You must be aware of that. Now, these principles evolved in the second stage, 1927 to 1937. I must refer to 3 or 4 books there. In the year 1927, a well-known writer, Willoughby, W.F. Willoughby, they put a question there in the civil service paper. When you go through the earlier question papers, if you want to know the subject matter very well, a very important shortcut is there. How to master the subject public administration? Is there any technique for mastering the subject? I must say, you must go through the earlier question papers. That is the best maker of your lessons. 10 years question paper, if you make thorough public administration paper, automatically you are becoming a master in the subject. They will be asking the questions not continuously. What is asked in the last year, they may not ask. What is asked in the year before last, they may not ask. But by collecting the various questions available in the civil survey papers, you are able to find the answers. Those answers, if you are aware, you are clear. You are getting a lot of marks there. Second paper, in the first paper, in the second stage of the evolution, Willoughby would say, when I say public administration in its broader meaning, when I say public administration in its broader meaning, it includes the activities of all the 3 branches of government. All the 3 branches means legislature, executive, judiciary. All the 3 branches. I am meaning Willoughby, a well-known administrative thinker, was telling. But what is required is not its broader meaning, but its narrower meaning. In its narrower meaning, public administration means only the executive part of the government, only the administrative part of the government. Administrative part means the officials who carry on the civil administration. Civil administration implies the officials who are charged with the implementation of the programs and the laws of the state. The laws of the state and the programs of the state, the policies of the state are implemented by civil servants. They are the administrators. Their job alone can be called administration according to Willoughby. He wrote the book called The Principles of Public Administration. Yet another important book written by, M.B. Foleth, Mary Parker Foleth. You have to study in detail about her. A leading female administrative thinker was M.B. Foleth, Mary Parker Foleth. She wrote 2 books. Number 1, creative experience. Creative experience, we have to know. Second book, dynamic administration. When you go through creative experiences, she explains what are the various activities carried on in an industry in a everyday basis. That is explained there. You know that in the US, they do not make much distinction between private and public administration. All experiments in administration are initially carried on in private sector. Then the government looking to these experiments, when they find fruitful, the government will carry out the activities and apply to the governmental examples. That is why the latest name for public administration in the US is not public administration. We say public administration. In the US, they call it new public management. In the year 1968, when you read the evolution of public administration, 1968 is a milestone. The year 1968 witnessed the evolution of a new name called the new public administration. I will be explaining to you the 5 stages. I am touching the second stage now, but I am moving towards the last stage because the last 2 stages are often asked in the question paper. When you prepare for civil service examination, you must be aware that what areas are more important from the exam point of view. That is something very, very important. Not simply reading everything, not touching every chapter in the book. What is more important, you must be aware. Therefore, 1968 I will come to you later, and 1991 also I will come to you later. Anyway, one point, in the US or in advanced countries in the European continent, even now in India also, we attach more importance to the word management. Administration is there still now. In the US, the administration is called Trump administration. That is their practice, calling the administration with the name of the president. Trump administration. We may say a Narendra Modi administration in India. But in the modern usage, the word administration is losing its original weight. Now the word management has taken its place. Is there any distinction between administration and management? There is subtle difference. Administration means to get things done. Administration means many people join together by their cooperative endeavor achieve the common purpose. Through collective endeavor, achieving common goal is called administration. If it is done by the government, you call public. If it is done by the private person, you call private. But management emphasizes a very pertinent idea. Management says achieving the goals important. Goals must be achieved by adapting all the strategies and technologies. You must reach the goal. Management emphasizes goal achievement through adapting all the techniques, all the strategies, all the technologies available. That is something innovation. That is why you must be aware of that in the year 1968, when new public administration was evolved. New public administration was evolved at Minnebrook Conference in the USA in '68, emphasizing 5 acts. When our Prime Minister was talking some years ago, after assuming charge of Indian administration, he was telling that we will apply these 5 principles copied from the 1968 example. 5 goals were fixed in 1968. Even now in India, they are followed. Number 1, about public administration. The first point is civil servants as change agents. A very important idea. Social transformation can be achieved only by the civil service, because political executive takes decisions and implementation lies with the civil servant. Only when administration is properly carrying on the activities, anything can be achieved. Civil servants as the change agents. Number 2, a very important idea, relevance. For any activity of the government, whether it is local level or state level or national level, the activity must have some relevance to the social development, social purpose. That relevance is something second important idea. The third one is innovation. Within 100 years of our history, what is the most important event taking place in India within 100 years in India? I mean, education is assembling at Delhi. They told that of all activities and events taking place in India, that event which has changed the life of India is information technology. Information technology, innovation is connected with information technology. In the 1968 meeting, they wanted public administration must be moved by information technology innovation. Third, the fourth one is social justice. After all, administration is meant for solving human problems. Jawaharlal Nehru, our former Prime Minister, once told, when I say the word administration, I mean solving some human problem. Solving some human problem, that is what is called administration. And the fifth one is humanism. One of the 5 ingredients developed in the 1968 Minnebrook Conference for public administration is humanism. That is something very important. To make administration meant for solving human problems, an administrator always keeps in his mind the human face. Human face of the administration was emphasized in '68. Anyway, when I am dealing with the evolution of public administration, a major area, the second one is, I told, the era of principles of administration. I quoted Willoughby, then I quoted M.B. Follett, Mary Parker Follett. She wrote 2 major books. Then another important writer we are finding is, 2 writers put together, Gulick and Warwick. They wrote in the year 1937 a book called Papers on the Science of Administration. Papers on the Science of Administration. They call administration a science, a systematic study. Even though Gulick and Warwick claimed public administration as a science, in reality, at a later stage, it was challenged. Can you consider public administration as a science? Just like physics or chemistry? Physics or chemistry has universal value with application to all times, all persons. But the public administration is like that. Even though there were doubts expressed at a later stage, public administration is called by 2, one American writer, one British writer, Gulick and Warwick, called it as a science. Where they described administration can be treated as a science, can be treated as a subject matter of scientific study, they claimed. But that was not acceptable to the later thinkers also. Then the third stage is, we are finding the era of challenge and questioning. The third stage in the study of public administration evolution was the study of challenge and questioning, that is 1938 to 1947. 1938 to 1947 is known as the era of challenge and questioning. I mean, 2-3 writers challenged the claim of Gulick and Urvik that administration is a science. After all, administration can be treated as an art. What is the definition of an art? An art is something which can be acquired by constant practice. Any art a person can achieve through constant practice. You are able to hear? You are able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Challenge and question. You note down in your book the third stage. What I say now in the online class, you can carry it forward when we are having physical classes at a later stage. I am just putting the ideas in a nutshell. If you want more explanation, I can offer at a later stage. For the time being, in order to get you a grip in the subject, I am putting these ideas. Public administration means, I can put you a definition here, public administration, what is the definition of public administration? Woodrow Wilson, the father of the discipline. Woodrow Wilson is generally rated as the father of the discipline. He says, public administration means the detailed and systematic application of public law. The detailed and systematic application of public law framed by the parliament. It is executed by officials, civil servants. That is what is called public administration. It is the executive side of the government. Public administration is a study of the executive side of the government. Yet another idea given by Wilson. It is the visible side of the government. You say whether there is a government in Kerala, whether there is a government at Kasaragod. Yes, there is a government. When the district collector is there, there is a government. The district collector, the deputy collector, the tahsildar, the village officer, the policeman, the constituting the nucleus of the government there. In Trivandrum, there is a government. In Kerala, there is government. In India, there is government. When we say there is government, you are seeing the persons who carry on the activities of the government with power, authority and responsibility. When you say an official, she or he has authority on the one hand, on the other side, there is responsibility. Authority and responsibility are coterminous. You write a sentence there. You write a sentence in your book. Authority and responsibility are ARE coterminous. 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 Coterminous means they go together. The two sides of the same coin. If a person is having authority, automatically he will have responsibility. If he has responsibility, automatically he would have authority. They will go together only. That is possible through administration carried on by officials. Now in the third stage, when administration was challenged that it is not a science, Robert Dahl, you remember the name of a particular person, Robert Dahl, ROBERTDAHL. He told that administration is of, an art only, it cannot be a science, because science has a universal application, it does not care for persons. It does not care for personalities. Administration is of universal value. If you make an experiment, the result will be the same around the world. Scientific experiments prove alike around the world. Public administration is not like that. Administration differs from country to country. That is the reason why the study of comparative public administration emerged recently. The administration of one country can be compared with the administration of another country. Administration cannot be the same because social differences, environment, F.W. Ricks. I quote the name of F.W. Ricks, who is a pioneer in the study of the relationship between the environment and the administration. The administration of one country differs from the administration of another country. He proved it by his study, models, Asiatic method of administration, African model of administration, European model, American model. He compared these models and enriched the subject matter of comparative public administration. Therefore, Robert Dahl challenged administration cannot be treated as a science Not only that, very eminent thinkers we have to study separately. Chester Bernard. You note the name of that thinker, Chester Bernard. Then a more important writer, Herbert Simon. Herbert Simon, Nobel laureate. In 1947, he wrote a book called Administrative Behavior. Administrative Behavior. He was awarded Nobel Prize in 1974. For public administration, no award of Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is not given for the subject matter of public administration. Then how did Herbert Simon receive it? Herbert Simon's name is found in the economics area. Because in the administrative behavior written by him, he was telling many techniques, many methods, many principles for the sake of running an administrative unit, a factory, an industry profitably and to the satisfaction of the entire society. He wrote the techniques. Therefore, his name is included in economics and he was awarded Nobel Prize. Herbert Simon. Herbert Simon and Chester Bernard were not agreeable to call public administration as a science. He told that many of the principles of public administration are just like proverbs. Proverbs can be applicable to a particular time, may not be applicable to some other time. Therefore, they were not ready to accept the public administration science. But still, we are finding that certain methods can be adopted in public administration continuously. At a later stage, F.W. Toiler, he wrote a book in the year 1911. In the year 1911, and he put the title as Theory of Scientific Management. He called this book Principles of Scientific Management. Therefore, science is often used by thinkers to indicate the subject matter of public administration, even though it is not of universal value. Then the fourth stage in the evolution of public administration, that is more important. In the exam point of view, civil service paper, fourth and fifth stage are important. Even if you forget the first three stages, no problem. The fourth stage, the fifth stage, you must be thorough. By making thorough of the fourth and fifth stage, you are able to master the first chapter. The first chapter, normally they put one question. I must say here now, public administration, like any other optional, in the first paper, first question is compulsory. In the second paper also, first question is compulsory. You must know the structure of the question paper. You must be aware of what is the need of the examiner. Answer to the point, not circumventing, not pushing the, roundabout the bush. That is not there. Here it is a matter of right answering to the right question. Questions are valuable. Civil service question papers will contain a lot of questions which are scientifically they have created such questions. And we make thorough first the questions, where you will be understanding. The point here is fourth stage, 1948 to 1970. It is called the era of identity crisis. The fourth stage, 1948 to 1970, is known as the era of identity crisis. In the modern times, identity is something very important. In the society, we want to establish our identity. As a student, as a teacher, or as any other official, you want to establish your identity. Others know that so and so is such and such important person. Now, the scholars and the professors in the universities
sound audio.
Sir.
No sound.
No sound.
ഒന്നും കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല.
ഓക്കെ, വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യും, ഇപ്പൊ വരും, ശരിയാവും.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
കേൾക്കാം.
You are able to hear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Now I'm telling, in order to master the first chapter, fourth and fifth stage in the evolution of public administration, you must be aware. The fourth stage is called the era of identity crisis, 1948 to 1970. That period is marked by two important events, you remember. Two important events. 1939-1945 witnessed the Second World War. 1939 to 1945 witnessed the Second World War, in which crores of people, around 4 crores of people were killed and billions of dollars worth of property was destroyed. People were disappointed. In Asia, in Africa, in European continent, a large number of people perished. Consequently, the total society was immobilized, just like the modern COVID's result, how the society is immobilized by the, activity of this COVID virus. Like that, the Second World War, which lasted for about 6 years, the total population of Asia, Africa, and Europe was affected. At the end of the war, after the bombing of the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6 and August 9, 1945, the war came to an end. United States, the American president convened a meeting of social scientists. Social scientists were assembling in the White House for answering certain questions raised by the president of the USA. You see, thousands of people perished in the war, the total social order is destroyed, properties also destroyed, economic, recession, economic catastrophe. What are your solutions? And many social scientists were unable to answer a proper answer to the question raised in the meeting. Because he wanted to find a solution for solving human problems. Then only the social scientists understood that as an economist, as a sociologist, as a historian, as a political scientist, as a public administrationist, could not answer properly, and they understood that there is a need for mixing together the essentials of various social sciences, and there evolved in the post-Second World War period what would be called interdisciplinary approach. In the fourth stage, there evolved interdisciplinary approach in order to 1948 to 1970, fourth stage. In the background of the Second World War and its consequences, the meetings of the social scientists understood the need for evolving a new approach to the study of human problem by mixing together the essentials of various social sciences, came to be known as the interdisciplinary approach, by which they wanted to understand the social order, its economics, its politics, its culture, its background, its geography. Then only you can offer solutions. That took place in the fourth stage. Then yet another important aspect of administration development was the 1960s. The 1960s is generally called the era of new social movements. You remember?
Please, Akhil Reggie George, please mute. Akhil, please mute.
What do you want?
Sorry, sir. It's not participant.
I know the thing is that what I tell again and again, a point you note down in your notebooks. You note down in your books so that you can refer to it at a later stage. I am telling a very important point in the first chapter, introduction chapter. Fourth stage in the evolution of public administration is known as the era of identity crisis. In the identity crisis, when you write, there you want to point out two ideas. The background of the evolution of the fourth stage is the Second World War the destruction and the disappointment of the people, to solve their problems, social scientists put together their ideas and created an interdisciplinary approach to solve human problems. That took place in the fourth stage. The second idea is the 1960s, generally known as the era of new social movements. During that period, social movements rose in various countries for the solving of human problems. Racial issues emerged, national issues emerged, social issues, economic problems. In order to solve these problems also, there was felt, for example, feminist movement which emerged in 1960s, the feminist movement. For that matter, the governments were required to solve the gender equality in order to establish gender equality. Gender equality is a modern concept. Originally, gender equality was not allowed in many countries, and for that matter, there was a demand for public administration to take immediate action. Many economic problems remain unsolved. The people wanted to solve such problems. Many regional problems remain unsolved. And all these problems posed before the civil liberties movement in 1960s. 1960s is known in the history of the US as a civil liberties movement. Martin Luther King and others carried on civil liberties. Now also you are finding in the US what is happening. You must be aware of the current issues. When they ask questions in the civil service paper, you must mix with the current issues also. I mean, Black Lives Matter. Now there is a movement going on. In 1960s, Martin Luther King, he evolved that civil liberties movement, and the people, they rose in rebellion against the established government demanding equality with the white people. For that matter, there was a movement. They wanted government to take immediate action, administration to take immediate action. Therefore, civil liberties movement which emerged there, anti-racist movement in Africa, Dalit community in India, for example, they demand equality with other people. Caste Hindus, they want, equality with those people. Then they are demanding the government to take immediate action. Therefore, these social movements put demands before the governmental machinery to take quick action to solve their problems. Administrative structure was not valid. Many of the governmental machineries are not functioning well. Therefore, there was a demand for improving public administration. In the US, the government opened schools, administrative schools in different parts of the country. In this period, 1948 to 1970 period, administrative schools were started in the different parts of the country to make aware of the administrative structure and their activities to the ordinary people. They have done it. Yet another important aspect of this period is James March and Simon and March, they issued a book called Organizations. Which heralded the need for making organizations more effective, more efficient, and popularized among the people the need for making organization better. Then at the climax, in the year 1968, the fourth stage I am telling, fourth stage is more important. In the year 1968, in the USA at a place called Minnowbrook, 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 1968, year is important. When you write things, you must be precise. To be precise, you denote the year also. In the year 1968, at a place known as Minnowbrook in the US, there met a group of young scholars. To examine the theory and practice of public administration. To examine the theory and practice of public administration, young scholars assembled at a place called Minnowbrook, the first Minnowbrook conference, 1968, second conference 1988, third conference 2008, every 20 years. How to improve the subject matter of administration, how to improve the practice of administration. Took place in the United States. In the 1968 conference, I must mention three important scholars or the players in the conference. One was Matthew Crunson, M-A-T-H-E-W-C-R-E-N-S-O-N, Matthew Crunson, Frank Marini, M-A-R-R-I-N-I, Frank Marini, he wrote a book on 1968 conference. Then the third important personality of the conference of 1968 was Dwight Waldo, D-W-I-G-H-T-W-A-L-D-O, Dwight Waldo, Frank Marini, Dwight Waldo, Matthew Crunson. They played a major role in evolving a new approach to the study of public administration. And they placed the leading parameters or highlights of the conference by emphasizing five concepts. 5 concepts relating to the subject matter of new public administration, NBA. I just now told you, NBA put across 5 concepts for the future guidance of administrators around the US and the world also. The 5 ingredients or the highlights or parameters of NBA are civil servants as a change agent. A very nice idea. Administrators play a major role in the constructive activity of the society. They contribute a lot. Therefore, they wanted to say social transformation can be possible only through civil servants, change agents. Number 3, 2, relevance. For anything and everything, activity must be relevant to the social need. Relevance. Number 3, innovation. Newer and newer techniques are to be evolved for improving administration. Number 4, social justice. And number 5, humanism. The 5 things put together, they called the NBA. NBA was evolved in the Minnowbrook conference. Before writing that one in the paper, you must write one more idea. What is the background of the evolution of NBA in 1968? I must say one point here. In the year 1967, the American government appointed a committee with the chairmanship of Professor Honey. Professor Honey was the chairman. He was of the Syracuse University. He was a professor in the Syracuse University. He was appointed as the chairman of the commission. A committee was appointed in order to study and report how to improve American administration and how to improve the disciplined public administration, how to improve the government of the US and also the subject matter of public administration. Honey was appointed as the chairman of a committee and he gave a lot of recommendations. Many recommendations were offered by Honey's report. 2-3 major recommendations included, he wanted there must be established a link between the university and the industry. Professors serving in the university, academic persons, they must come to the factory or the industry in order to participate in the actual activity of the industry. And the industrial managers or engineers, they must go for some time to the university and to teach in the actual classroom. Actual classroom teaching must be carried on by engineers in the factories, and professors in the university must come to the engineering industry and carry out the field activity. theory and practice to be clubbed together for improving administration. Kadi report told they implemented, American government implemented. Then it wanted to offer scholarships to the students who are offering public administration discipline in the college study. A person is joining in the university with public administration as a subject, he must be encouraged by offering scholarships. Then again it wanted those who take the course of public administration in the university, they must be given opportunity to work in the government department for some time. A person, in order to complete the degree course, 3 months he must serve in the government department and get a certificate there. He has known the public administration practice, serving in the government department for 3 months or 6 months. Then only he will complete the degree. Theory and practice are being put together for the subject. Such recommendations were accepted to the government and they implemented. Anyway, that is also to be pointed out in the fourth stage. Evolution of public administration is a study. Fourth stage, you have to put in a single sentence will be enough. In the civil service paper, the time is limited, space is limited. You cannot write everything. A candidate who is able to limit his answer to the prescribed time and space alone will get marks. If you write anything and everything, as you know, the examiner will not be, mesmerized. The examiner will be satisfied only when the candidate writes rightly to the question asked and brief as possible as prescribed in the examination paper. If you write elaborately without any limits whatsoever, you may not get the marks. A candidate writes little will get more marks. A candidate who writes more will get little marks. This is what is the practice of civil service examination. Anyway, in the fifth stage, I must say here, 1968 is over. Fifth stage, that is the most important stage. Now it continues, even now continues. 1970 or 71 onwards, we are living in the era of the fifth stage in the evolution of public administration since 1971. You can very well call it is the era of NBA, the era of NBA, public policy perspective, and new public management. That is the period. Fifth stage, 1971 onwards, it continues even now. The era of NBA, public policy perspective, and new public management. Public policy perspective is of recent value. Government's primary activity concerned with policy making, then policy implementation. Suppose we are put a question in the modern times, what is the primary activity of the government? Immediately we say policy formulation, policy implementation. James Fessler, they often a question about James Fessler's statement. James Fessler of the US would once say, when you put a question to me, what is meant by public administration, I will answer it. Public administration means policy execution. Public administration means policy formulation. Public administration means bureaucracy. Public administration means public. A very fine answer he was giving. They have put a question there in the civil service paper. Examine James Fessler's statement. Public administration means, policy implementation, policy formulation, bureaucracy, and public. Public here means government. In public administration discipline, what is the meaning of the word public? The term public indicates here not the people, it indicates government. Whatever being done by the government, you call public administration. Running any, government is running hospital, running a laboratory, running the taluka office, running university, colleges, government department, secretariat, the defense, all are concerned with the public administration. Activities for the welfare of the people carried on by the established government, you can call public administration. Anyway, the fifth stage, I must say today, fifth stage 1968 NP appeared. In the year 1990-91 period. 1991 period, an American administrative thinker by name Christopher Hood. His name we have to remember, Christopher Hood. CHRISTOPHERHOOD. Christopher Hood. He wrote a book involving, it was an essay written by him, a new public management for all seasons. A new public management for all seasons. That is the title of the essay. Later it was published as a book. Christopher Hood. Defining a new public management with a short idea, managerialism. NPM, nowadays popularly called NPM, New Public Management, which means, according to Christopher Hood, managerialism. Reaching the goal by adapting all techniques, all strategies inevitably. Once you set a goal, you must achieve it. For civil service preparation candidates, we are giving an idea. What is the secret of winning examination success? I would say, many persons would say, time management. One of the techniques for achieving the goal of civil service candidate is time management, which involves not only time management, energy management, resources management. If you achieve it correctly, you are achieving the goal. Chester Bernard once told, everything depends upon the management. If you manage properly, you are reaching the goal. If the management is not ready there, you cannot achieve the goal. Anyway, new public management idea was first put across by Christopher Hood by writing an essay in which he emphasized the need for managerialism. The further interpretation was offered by many thinkers, emphasizing the importance of mixing together private and public administration. Christopher Hood's idea was taken by later thinkers as a mixing of public and private administration. At the climax, in 1991, the same year, two writers of importance, they evolved a new idea in their book called Reinventing Government. Two American writers wrote a book called Reinventing Government, elaborating the concept of NPM. Elaborating the concept of NPM, they emphasized the 3 E's of NPM. 3 E's. The words starting with the letter E. The words starting with the letter E. 3 E's. Efficiency, effectiveness, and economy. Efficiency, effectiveness, and economy. The 3 E's of NPM. The NPM emphasizes, if you are using the book and the pen now, you can write down there, the NPM emphasizes at adoption of private sector techniques for governmental departments. Adoption of private sector techniques for operating government departments. The NPM emphasizes adoption of private sector techniques for improving government departments. Number 2, performance appraisal. You must appraise, you must assess, you must estimate the work done by the concerned persons in the service, either in the factory or in the government. performance appraisal. Number 3, flexibility. Government generally means rigid. Government means rules, regulation, procedures. For anything and everything, rules, regulation, procedures constitute the essence of governmental business. That is there, that is a must. But along with that, you must adapt the concept of flexibility. Wherever necessity arises, you adapt to flexibility. Then e-governance, modern times you are finding e-governance, electronic governance. E-governance, you must be there. Competence, there is a need for making every department competent to carry out its activities. Competence. Market orientation. NPM emphasized market orientation. What is the demand of the people must be met by the departments. Demand and supply. When we come to the concept of globalization, in the modern times, since 1991 in India, the government has adopted globalization as its economic policy. Liberalization, privatization, globalization, LPG, by which it is meant adoption of private sector and encouraging private sector for delivering the needs of the people. Encouraging private sector, I mean, we are adapting, the techniques adapted by the private sector for governmental machinery that is done in the country now since 1991. Therefore, there is a need for, taking the steps in order to improve administration by adapting private sector. Then, contracting out, a very important idea told by NPM, contracting out. You often hear the word outsourcing. Outsourcing normally adapted in the context of United States when they are leaving certain jobs to other countries, technicians, technical persons. Now, contracting out. Whenever the government machinery is unable to deliver certain activities effectively for the welfare of the people, leave it to the private sector. Government machinery is there but unable to carry out all activities effectively, then leave it to private sector which is more efficient. Often we find certain activities can be carried out by the private sector better than the government sector. You leave it to that. That is what is called contracting out. They are telling contracting out. Economic incentive. Efficient persons in the service must be found out and they must be encouraged by providing economic incentive. If a person is putting hard labor, you must encourage him by giving more salary, more wages, more bonus. Economic incentive to be given to the people who are working hard. NPM says. Debureaucratization, one of the activities advocated by NPM. Debureaucratization, democratization, yet another idea given by NPM. That is going on now around the world. And decentralization, 3 ideas. Democratization, decentralization, etc. are to be carried out, debureaucratization. And yet another idea emphasized very strongly, entrepreneurialism. Infosys. When Infosys was started years ago at Bangalore, Narayana Murthy was having only few, money was very limited, only few thousands he was having. But his ability, innovative ability, entrepreneurialism made him to make that enterprise in a global enterprise. Infosys development was meteoric. By developing by hard work, very hard work and the industrial values he attached, developed into a global enterprise with starting from scratches, starting from nothing, he emerged as a global enterprise. That variety of work is required. That variety of work is required for improving any enterprise, any organization. Entrepreneurialism they emphasized. All these ideas were associated with the NPMO, and we are finding that what is the global impact of NPMO? Often they put a question, examine the global impact of NPMO. NPM's impact is stupendous, very wider area around the world. One immediate result is, corporatization of many government departments for the purpose of efficiency. In order to raise the efficiency of departments, many departments are converted into business organization. But in India or in Kerala, we do not say that whatever department converted into corporations are yielding success. I cannot say. KSRTC was formed. Originally, it was a department. Transport was a department. When C.P. Ramasamy Iyer was the Diwan of Travancore, there was started this transport facility, which was owned by the government for a very, very long time. But recently it was converted into a corporation to yield better results to serve the people. But what happened there? It is neither a corporation nor a department. It is functioning somewhat. Every year it makes a loss. 100 crores rupees government shell out from the budget. Every year the government finds 100 crores rupees for maintaining the KSRTC. And in India, we do not find that corporations are ultimately successful. But few corporations, LIC is successful, oil corporations are successful, few corporations are very successful, industries, but a few other corporations are not yielding the results as expected. Anyway, NPM wants for improving the activity of the government department, adapting newer and newer strategies, techniques, technologies, so that we can yield results to the people. Anyway, NPM is there. In this context, I must also say, what are the theoretical background of NPM? Theoretical background of NPM, we have to find two ideas. One is public choice approach. In the civil service paper, they put the question about public choice approach. An American administrative thinker, Vincent Ostrom, Vincent, Ostrom, Ostrom. Vincent Ostrom wrote a book, The Intellectual Crisis in American Public Administration. The Intellectual Crisis in American Public Administration, in which he pointed out that US is comparatively a well-administered country, a rich country, economy is very fine, all these things are there. Even in that country, the problems of the people in the distant area, one of the largest countries in the world, the US, but population is comparatively, minimum. We are having more than 120 crores, but United States is having around 20 or 25 crores only. But however, the problems of the people could not be taken before the government at Washington DC effectively. The central government is located in Washington DC. The country is wider. Problems of the people around the country could not be taken before the Washington office immediately, and consequently many problems remain unsolved there also, even after the improvement of communication. Very effective communication channels are available, very quick channels are there. Still then, Ostrom pointed out that even though the country is advanced technologically, economically, problems of the people in the distant areas remain unsolved. How to solve them? He wanted more and more offices of the union government, federal government, central government must be opened in the different parts of the country. And what I want is, there is a need for a communication channel to be improved so that the problems of the people could be solved so quickly. Any problem of the people can be solved through quick communication. He wanted communication channels to be improved so that the problems of the people could be understood. And therefore, he wanted people have their own choice. Public choice approach here means people's demands are increasing day by day. Every day, newer and newer problems are cropping up. Newer and newer demands are emerging. How to solve them? Is it possible easily by any administrative structure? And therefore he wanted to improve the communication channel with the government, between the government and the people, and starting newer and newer offices around the country. You understand the problem quickly and solve them. He wanted that one, Vincent Austin. The second one is neo-Taylorism. The second theoretical background of NPM, neo-Taylorism. Neo-Taylorism. Frederick Taylor, the father of the theory of scientific management. We have to study first theory in public administration, theory of scientific management. And he wrote a book, Principles of Scientific Management. That Taylor indicated 4 major principles. He indicated 4 major principles, and he called management as a science. Not administration he called science, management he called a science, based on scientific laws and principles. He suggested 4 ideas in order to improve administration, and he called it scientific management. And Taylor is remembered now for his principles. The later thinkers in the era of NPM also wanted to adapt newer and newer principles for improving administration. And they put together in the name of neo-Taylorism. Old Taylor told certain principles, the new Taylorism tells about more principles. These 2 ideas constitute the theoretical approach of NPM. Now I must also point out NPM's background. We must also connect with 2 major things. One is what happened in England in 1980s. In 1980s, the Conservative Party was the ruling party with Margaret Thatcher and later John Major. Margaret Thatcher, generally called the Iron Lady, she understood that the parliament's debates for, passing a budget and controlling the operation of the budget is not effective. Budget is passed in the parliament, members participate, ministers participate. Once the budget is passed, for what purpose the money is allotted was not effectively implemented properly. And consequently, many of the programs listed out in the budget went on without being implemented. And people were suffering. People have many demands but not solved by the government machinery. And therefore, she evolved an idea called Citizens Charter. In 1980s, Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister for 2 terms. She was followed by John Major. During their period, they gave importance to the concept of Citizens Charter. Citizens Charter, to put it in a nutshell, is public accountability of the government's accountability. Money is available in plenty in the budget. Whether the money is properly used and implemented, all the programs listed out by the government. Every department has many programs in the list, but many programs remain unimplemented. Members in the parliament will put questions to the ministers, what happened to that program, what happened to the project. The minister will be telling that it is under active consideration or it is being implemented, not effectively implemented. And consequently, Thatcher pointed out that we have to create a monitoring committee, a citizens committee in every department. In every department, we must create a monitoring committee of well-wishers, good persons, those who are interested in social welfare. You constitute a committee with 20%, 25%. They will examine in each departmental budget what money is allotted, what for, what program. Whether the program within the period, 1 year period, is implemented or not will be monitored continuously by the monitoring committee. Then they will take up the matter before the minister also when there is a need. They will see what happened to this program. You have stated in the budget this program will be implemented within 1 year. Money is available, but you are not implementing. In that way, citizens charter will be knowing what the government wanted to do, whether it has been done or not, will be verified. A citizen charter is a sense, in a way, is a sense of accountability, whether the governmental machinery is doing according to the promise, according to the money available in the budget is carrying out. In that way, citizens charter emerged in India. We have adapted. Kerala government has adapted. In our treasury, there has been a notice board. In our corporation office, there is a notice which says what are the activities the city corporation will provide for the citizens of the city. If there is any failure, you contact the concerned officials. Government fixes time. If you apply for a certificate, birth certificate, within no time you are getting it now. Formerly, it will take 3 months or 6 months for getting a birth certificate. But now within hours you are getting. In the university, if you apply for a provisional certificate, within no time you are getting it now. Mainly because of the citizen charter is effective. It is universally now applicable as a charter for individuals, ability to acquire whatever required from the government, and the government is bound to do citizen charter. Then Margaret Thatcher also pointed out a concept called next step agency. What is meant by next step agency? In the British administration, you are finding across a word called next step agency. Government department is doing many activities, no doubt. Public works department, education department, all departments are doing activities. But when the department is unable to effectively implement a particular program, particular project, which requires expert knowledge, government department is unable to. You don't worry about that. You find out in the market whether a private agency is available to implement such and such a program. In Trivandrum city, for example, the flyover, that flyover in Palayam was constructed not by the government department. Government department started well. PWD started well. But after some time they left it. They are unable to carry out. They could not finish it. A North Indian construction company came here. They completed that work because they requires concerted effort continuously without any intervention, political interference, or to say official interference should not be there. The program must be allowed to be carried out by the agency quickly well, and the construction company from North India to finish the work. Therefore, often we are finding that when government fails, there the next step must be carried out by another agency. That is told by Margaret Thatcher. England has adapted that concept. Therefore, that is there. In this context, I must also say the term government, generally you are aware. Government means the established structure to carry on administration in a country you call government. Government is the mechanism by which the will of the people is implemented. Government is the machinery for carrying out the desires of the people. No government, no state. No government, no organized life. That is the importance of government. But recently, in India also, the word government is losing its importance. All persons in power, they generally nowadays use the term governance. Is there any difference between government and governance? Yes, there is. Government simply means the machinery, the structure, the legislature, the executive, the judiciary put together. But governance is a term which implies not only the governmental machinery, but the non-governmental organizations which operate in the society. Any program must be implemented by the government machinery by associating non-governmental agencies operating in the society for different purposes. The society is plural. Plurality of the society, not single activity. The state is meant for political purpose. Government is meant for political purpose. But there are so many other activities. Society is federal, and therefore the government must also be federal. Federal in the sense that multiple activities are to be carried on in the society for achieving the social goals. Government is contact you later. I contact you later. Governmental machinery is not enough. Therefore, a government machinery must associate non-governmental agencies to achieve all the goals of the society. Government governance can be put in a very minor meaning. The term governance means collective problem solving. That is the idea given by others. Collective problem solving means governmental machinery on the one side, they make the policies, but while implementing, you associate non-governmental agencies also with the governmental machinery for implementing and succeeding the program. That is the idea nowadays more important than the government machinery. That is why in all societies, in Indian society also, the term governance has taken its place. To further improve that word governance, e-governance, electronic governance. For speedy administration, what is required now is speedy administration. Unless there is speedy administration, you cannot achieve the goals. Goals of the government, goals of the society can be achieved only by speedy administration. That is what is required now. For that matter, the term governance has acquired much importance. The World Bank in 1990 evolved the term good governance with its own ideas. World Bank pinpointed certain ideas relating to the term good governance. In which country there is good governance, for that matter, they gave certain parameters. A country with good governance shall have democracy as the model of government. Government must be democratically elected. Democracy should be there in the first point of good governance, democracy. India has democracy. Number two, individual liberty, large number of freedoms. Our constitution, part 3 of the constitution deals with the part 3 deals with the fundamental rights. So guarantees so many freedoms. Article 19. The right to freedom of speech, expression, association, so many freedoms are guaranteed to Indian citizens. Therefore, we can very well say in India there is individual liberty. Individual liberty and democracy go together. In India there is individual liberty. Number 3, number 3, universal adult franchise. A person reaching a particular age is eligible for voting. The 61st Amendment in 1989 provides for a person reaching the age of 18 is eligible for voting. Irrespective of caste, creed, color, sex, status, place of birth. Irrespective of caste, creed, color, sex, state, place of birth, every person is eligible for voting, entitled to voting. Universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise is followed by periodical elections. Every 5 years there will be elections. And there is a body called Election Commission of India. Article 324 of the Constitution provides for an independent election commission to carry on elections periodically. That is there. 2 or more political parties. One of the ingredients of democracy is minimum 2 political parties, more political parties. People's Republic of China, even though they call themselves as democratic, People's Democracy, Chinese call themselves as a People's Democracy. In the Western point of view, China is not a democracy because single party, no opposition is allowed, no criticism. No criticism is allowed in the People's Republic of China. Therefore, the Westerners do not consider China as a democracy. 2 or more political parties. Then we are finding independence of the judiciary. One of the ingredients of good governance is independence of the judiciary. In India, independence of the judiciary is there. Supreme Court, the guardian of the Constitution, the guardian of individual rights, the final interpreter of the Constitution. Supreme Court and the judiciary remains independent of the executive and the legislature. Supreme Court has the authority to declare a law passed by the Parliament if it is against the Constitution unconstitutional. Examine the law passed by the Parliament, judicial review. The Supreme Court possesses. Therefore, independence of the judiciary and independence of the judiciary is there. Then we are finding freedom of the newspapers that is there. Many freedoms are there. Freedom of expression implies Freedom of the media also, freedom of the media is allowed there. Then the adoption of citizens charter, one of the ingredients of modern times, World Bank says, you must adapt to, citizens charter to be accountable to the people. If all these things are available, you can say there is a good governance as prescribed by the World Bank. Therefore, e-governance also we have to point out here. Now, I must also tell about one more idea in the first chapter, challenges of liberalization, privatization, globalization. 1991 witnessed the emergence of the concept of LPG, which stands for private sector only, not for the government. A country like India cannot go absolutely for globalization or privatization. Marginalized sections of the society, is there in India. You call them by any name. Those marginalized sections of the society must be raised to a level, for that matter. For the time being, at least for some years more, we have to provide for their development. Not simply going 10% globalization or liberalization is possible in a country like India. Often we find that administration and politics are mixed together. One Gauss, a writer by name Gauss, in the civil service exam paper, public administration paper, they put a question. In certain countries, politics and administration are not completely possible to separate. In India or third world countries, public administration and politics often go together because ministers have to take special care for marginalized sections of the people. They have to interfere in the day-to-day activities of the officials, because in order to provide a certain relief to the oppressed communities or the marginalized sections of the society, government has to interfere. You cannot keep away totally politics and administration. They have put a question there. Anyway, we are finding that one privatization, globalization have raised many challenges to the government. They are being solved by certain adoption of activities. Okay. Thank you. This is the first chapter I am telling. More chapters I will have to teach you: administrative thought, administrative behavior, organizations, etc. If you have any doubt relating to the introduction of the subject, you can raise. I will be answering. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. We can
You
hear
are
you,
able
sir.
to hear?
Yes, sir.
Raise any doubts to be clarified now? Or else we will meet in the next class. But for the time being, if you have got simpler doubts to be clarified, I am ready to clarify.
Hello, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Sir, എൻ്റെ പേര് അക്ഷയ്. സാറിന് മലയാളം അറിയാമല്ലോ സർ? ഓക്കെ. സർ, ഞാൻ ഓപ്ഷണൽ ഇതുവരെ ചൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല സർ. അപ്പോ മലയാളവും അതേപോലെ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനും താല്പര്യമുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഈ താല്പര്യം വരാൻ കാരണം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, എനിക്ക് ഈ മലയാളം വായിക്കാൻ പണ്ട് മുതൽ ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. നോവലുകളൊക്കെ വായിക്കാറുണ്ട്.
ശരി.
അപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ആണ് എടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ വെച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ചൂസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് സർ? കാര്യം പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഇതുവരെ ഒന്നും വായിച്ചിട്ട് അങ്ങനെ ഒന്നുമില്ല. ഞാൻ ഒരു എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ഉള്ള സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ആണ്.
വായിച്ചിട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ബിഗിനിങ് സ്റ്റേജിൽ ഞാൻ ഒരു ബുക്ക് ആദ്യം പറയാം. ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളുടെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആൻസർ ചെയ്യാം. ബൈ ദ വേ, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വായിക്കാൻ ഒരു ബുക്ക് ഞാൻ സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ബൈ മോഹിത് ഭട്ടാചാര്യ. ഒരു ബേസിക് ബുക്കാണ്, ഒരു ബേസിക് ബുക്ക് ടു ഗെറ്റ് ബേസിക് ഐഡിയാസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ എസ് ആർ മഹേശ്വരിയുടെ ബുക്ക് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ. അത് അതായത് മലയാളം ഈസ് എ സേഫ് ഓപ്ഷനിൽ നിന്ന് പല കുട്ടികളും പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ ധാരാളം പേർക്ക് ഓപ്ഷനിൽ നല്ല മാർക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. ഒരു ആപ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഡ്, ഒരു ടേസ്റ്റ് ആ ലിറ്ററേച്ചറിൽ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ ഓഫർ ഇറ്റ്. യു ഹവ് ടു റീഡ് എ ലോട്ട്. പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷന്റെ ഒരു ബെനിഫിറ്റ് എന്താണെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ you will be able to apply the lessons of public administration when you are selected for appointment. My own students who got into civil service IAS, she was telling me, sir, what you taught in the classroom as theory of administration, principles of administration, I could apply in the field when I turned to be an IAS. She's working in Kerala as an IAS official. She was my student. She was telling me, whatever you taught in the classroom as theory, when I turned to be an official, I apply them with success. Therefore, that possibility is there in one way, but you have to study separately as a new subject, public administration. That problem is there. But Malayalam you have learned from early childhood and you are somewhat proficient in the language. You will read a lot. You are able to write well. That is there. That is one aspect. When the books, classes are available here, books are available plenty. Therefore, you have to weigh the two things. But Malayalam means you have to, that is also competitive. Both are competitive. Public administration as a subject matter, you can use it for your answering other questions. General essay, you can apply. Indian administration, apply. Indian government, you can apply the knowledge of public administration. That is there. Whatever you learn in public administration, you can apply to other areas also. General studies, Indian government, then general essay writing. For that matter, this content can be used. The content of public administration can be used for other areas as well. For interview also, you can apply, utilize. Malayalam also has its own advantages. I do not say, I do not minimize the importance of Malayalam as an optional. That is also there. ആലോചിച്ചിട്ട് ഒന്നുകൂടെ തിങ്ക് ചെയ്യുക, ഒന്ന് ആലോചിക്കുക, ഒന്ന് ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുക. നിങ്ങളുടെ സുഹൃത്തുക്കളുമായിട്ടോ പ്രൊഫസേഴ്സുമായിട്ടോ എല്ലാം ചർച്ച ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ ടേസ്റ്റ് എന്താണ്? ടേസ്റ്റ് ഈസ് മോർ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. കാൻഡിഡേറ്റ്സ് ഓഫർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ടേസ്റ്റ് പ്ലേസ് എ റോൾ. ത്രൂ ഔട്ട് വേണമല്ലോ. മലയാളം എടുത്തു, ഒരു സ്റ്റേജ് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ അത് പോരാ, പറ്റുന്നില്ല എന്ന് തോന്നാൻ പാടില്ല. Once you select, you must stand there.
Okay. Sir, what doubt do you, sir?
You can contact me later also in phone. My phone number is there. You want my phone number?
Yes, sir.
My phone number is 944 641 3342.
3342.
If you contact me later also, we can have a discussion.
Okay. Sir,
my name is T. Nandakumar. I retired from the University College.
Okay.
And I am working here from 2005.
Okay.
It started. So the academy started in 2005. So from that date onwards, I am working here.
Okay, sir. So I will call you later.
Who is?
Okay.
Any other persons who are having doubts to be clarified? My dear students, have you got any doubts to clarify? പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. I am able to hear. ഹലോ. ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് എന്നാണോ? അല്ലാതെ വായിച്ചെടുത്താൽ മതി. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പോസിബിൾ ആണ്. കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല? ഹലോ. ഹലോ.
സാർ പറയുന്ന കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അവരുടെ സൈഡിൽ ടെക്നിക്കൽ ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്.
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചോളൂ. ഹലോ.
സാർ ഞാൻ
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ചോദിച്ചോളൂ, കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
സർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ് എന്താണെന്ന്
ആ
വെച്ചാൽ
ആ
നമ്മളിപ്പോ
Fawaz muted.
ആ
Fawaz muted.
ഓക്കെ.
സർ കേൾക്കാമോ സർ?
ഇപ്പൊ കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
സർ എന്റെ പേര് അവിനാഷ് എന്നാണ്. സർ എനിക്കൊരു കാര്യം അറിയാനുള്ളത്, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ഈ പേപ്പറിൽ ഇപ്പൊ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ പേപ്പർ 2 ഇന്ത്യൻ അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷന്റെ മുകളിലാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, അപ്പൊ ഇതിൽ ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ ആയിരിക്കും കൂടുതൽ, അത് ഫാക്ച്വൽ ബേസ്ഡ് ആൻസറിങ് ആയിരിക്കും കൂടുതൽ?
സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പറിൽ വലിയ ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ വേണ്ടി വരില്ല, ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പറിൽ വേണം. സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പറിൽ ഫാക്ട്സ് ആണ്, അത് വായിച്ച് എഴുതാൻ പറ്റുന്നതാണ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പറിലാണ് ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ ആവശ്യമുള്ളത്. തിയറി പേപ്പറിലാണ് ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് എല്ലാം ധാരാളം വരുന്നത്. സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പർ നോർമലി ഫാക്ട് പ്രസന്റേഷൻ. അപ്പോൾ എക്സാമിന്റെ ഫോക്കസ് ഓഫ് ദ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ, ആർ ദ ക്യാബിനറ്റ് സെക്രട്ടേറിയറ്റ്, ആർ ദി സ്റ്റേറ്റ് സെക്രട്ടേറിയറ്റ്, ആർ ദ ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് കളക്ടേഴ്സ് ഫംഗ്ഷൻ, ഇതെല്ലാം മിക്കവാറും ഫാക്ട്സ് ആണ്. വലിയ ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ വേണ്ടി വരില്ല, ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പറിൽ കൂടുതൽ വേണം. അതെ.
താങ്ക് യു സർ.
Right, any other person to ask any question?
ഹലോ സർ, കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
സർ ഇപ്പൊ ജി എസിലെ ഒരു പാർട്ടാണല്ലോ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ.
അതെ, ഇന്ത്യൻ ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ കുറെ ഏരിയ ഇതിൽ വരും.
ഓക്കെ സർ, അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് റെഫർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരു ബുക്ക്, ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ബുക്ക് സാർ?
ഇന്ത്യൻ പോളിറ്റിക്സ് മാത്രമാണ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനാണ്. പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പർ സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പറിന് മഹേശ്വരി ആൻഡ് അവസ്ഥി. പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പർ, പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പർ, മഹേശ്വരി ആൻഡ് അവസ്ഥി. മഹേശ്വരി ആൻഡ് അവസ്ഥി.
ഓക്കെ സർ.
അത് പറയുക, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫാഡിയ ആൻഡ് ഫാഡിയ. ഒരു ബുക്ക് കൂടെ പറയാം, ഫാഡിയ ആൻഡ് ഫാഡിയ. അത് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യാം.
ഓക്കെ സാർ, ഇത് പറഞ്ഞത് മെയിനിനുള്ളതല്ലേ? മെയിൻസിനെ റെഫർ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ബുക്സ് അല്ലേ?
എന്താ
മെയിൻസിൽ റെഫർ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ബുക്സ് അല്ലേ സാർ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോ?
അതെ, മെയിൻസ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഉള്ളതാണ്. മെയിൻസ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഓപ്ഷണൽ, മെയിൻസിൽ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ, പ്രിലിംസിന് ഓപ്ഷണൽ ഇല്ല.
വരുന്നില്ലേ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷന്റെ പാർട്ട്?
അതെ,
നമുക്ക് സിമ്പിൾ ആയിട്ട് ബേസിക്സ് കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള
അതെ ഞാൻ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞു, ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഒരു ബുക്ക് പറയാം.
ഓക്കെ,
ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ, മോഹിത് ഭട്ടാചാര്യ. ന്യൂ ഹൊറൈസൺസ് ഓഫ് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ബൈ മോഹിത് ഭട്ടാചാര്യ.
ഓക്കെ,
ബേസിക് ബുക്കാണ്.
ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു സർ.
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, കേൾക്കാം.
അപ്പം മലയാളത്തിൽ എഴുതുന്നവരും ഈ സെയിം ബുക്ക് തന്നെ ഉപയോഗിച്ചാൽ മതി?
ഈ വേർഡ്സോ മലയാളത്തിൽ എഴുതുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനിലുള്ള വേർഡ്സ് ടെക്നിക്കൽ വേർഡ്സ് എല്ലാം അതുപോലെ എഴുതാം. ടെക്നിക്കൽ വേർഡ്സ്
നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കാനായിട്ട് ഈ ബുക്ക് തന്നെയാണോ മേടിക്കേണ്ടത്?
പഠിക്കാനുള്ള ബുക്ക് തന്നെ വാങ്ങിച്ചാൽ മതി. മഹേശ്വരി അവസ്ഥയുടെയോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫാഡിയയുടെ ബുക്ക് വാങ്ങിക്കാം.
മലയാളം പഠിക്കാനായിട്ട്.
ഇപ്പൊ മലയാളത്തിൽ എഴുതാൻ അതിനുള്ള വാക്കുകൾ ഇവിടെ മലയാളത്തിൽ ബുക്ക് ഒരു ലാംഗ്വേജ് ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ടുകാർ ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ അറിയില്ല. ലാംഗ്വേജ് ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ടുകാർ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനിൽ ബുക്ക് ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ള അറിയില്ല. ഇത് വായിച്ചിട്ട് മലയാളത്തിൽ എഴുതാം. അതിനുള്ള എഴുതി ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു എസ്സേ 1-2 എസ്സേ എഴുതി കൊണ്ടുവന്നാൽ ഞാൻ നോക്കി തരാം. മലയാളത്തിലെ നിങ്ങൾ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ എടുത്തു വെച്ചിട്ട് മലയാളത്തിലാണ് എഴുതുന്നു, അത് എസ്സേ നിങ്ങൾ എങ്ങനെ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് കാണിക്കണം. ഐ മസ്റ്റ് വെരിഫൈ വെദർ ഇറ്റ് കണ്ടെയ്ൻസ് ആൾ ദ ഐഡിയാസ്. കാരണം അവിടെ ലാംഗ്വേജിനെക്കാളും ഐഡിയാസിന് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ എഴുതിയാൽ വരുന്ന ഐഡിയാസ് എല്ലാം മലയാളത്തിൽ എഴുതിയപ്പോൾ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടോ എന്ന് പരിശോധിക്കണം. അത് ഞാൻ ചെയ്തു തരാം. താങ്ക് യു.
ഹലോ സാർ.
യെസ്.
സാർ ഈ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പേര് എഴുതുന്ന ഒരു സബ്ജക്റ്റ് ആണല്ലോ സാർ. അപ്പൊ അതില് നോർമലൈസേഷൻ ഒക്കെ വരുന്നു.
അതിൽ മോഡറേഷനാ?
നോർമലൈസേഷൻ ഒക്കെ വരത്തില്ല. അതൊക്കെ എങ്ങനെയാണ്? കാര്യം 3000 എത്ര പേരാണ് എഴുതുന്നതെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം എഴുതിയത്. അപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെയാണ് അതിന്റെ സ്കോറിംഗ് ഒക്കെ എങ്ങനെയാണ്?
മാർക്ക് സ്കോറിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആ എസ് എഴുതുന്ന രീതിയിലായിരിക്കും. നമ്മളിപ്പോ മാർക്സ് കിട്ടില്ല എന്ന് പറയാനും പറ്റില്ല, കിട്ടുമെന്ന് പറയാനും പറ്റില്ല. പക്ഷെ അതേ സമയത്തിൽ ആൻസർ ടു ദ പോയിന്റ്, റെലവന്റ് പോയിന്റ് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നല്ല മാർക്ക് സ്കോർ ചെയ്യാം. എന്റെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് ഇവിടെ നല്ല മാർക്ക് കിട്ടിയവരുണ്ട്. സിവിൽ സർവീസ് കയറിയവർ, IAS കയറിയവർ, നല്ല മാർക്ക്. പ്രശാന്ത്, മിത്ര, ഇവരെല്ലാം പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിഷൻ എടുത്തവരാണ്. ഡോക്ടർ തെൽമ, ഇവരെല്ലാം പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിഷൻ എടുത്തിട്ട് ടോപ്പ് മാർക്ക് കിട്ടിയവരാണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിള് 2008 2010 പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ എടുത്ത് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നമ്പർ 1 റാങ്ക് കിട്ടിയ 2 പേര് പറഞ്ഞത്, ഞങ്ങൾ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ആൻസർ എഴുതുമ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പറിൽ പറയുന്ന തിയറി, സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പറിൽ പറയുന്ന ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ, ഇത് രണ്ടും മിക്സ് ചെയ്ത് എഴുതുന്നവരായിരുന്നു. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷനിൽ മാക്സിമം മാർക്ക് കിട്ടിയത്. ഔട്ട് ഓഫ് 500 they scored around 370. അന്നത്തെ റെക്കോർഡായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പോസിബിൾ ആണ്, പ്രൊവൈഡഡ് യു പ്രിപ്പയർ ദ ആൻസേഴ്സ് ലോജിക്കലായിട്ട് ആൻസർ തയ്യാറാക്കി എടുക്കണം ആദ്യമേ. അതാണ് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞത്. യു മസ്റ്റ് ഗോ ത്രൂ ദ ഏർലിയർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പേഴ്സ് ആൻഡ് കളക്ട് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. എവരി ക്വസ്റ്റ്യന് ആൻസർ ചെയ്ത് ഒരു പ്രാക്ടീസ് വേണം. എൻ്റെ 1-2 സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു. ദേ വിൽ പിക്ക് അപ്പ് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആൻഡ് റൈറ്റ് ആൻസേഴ്സ്. എന്നിട്ട് എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് കാണിച്ചിട്ട് ദേ വിൽ വെരിഫൈ വെദർ ദ ആൻസർ ഈസ് അപ് ടു ദ മാർക്ക്. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്താൽ മതി. യു ക്യാൻ സ്കോർ മാർക്സ്, വെരി ഗുഡ് മാർക്സ്.
ഓക്കെ സാർ, താങ്ക് യു സാർ.
അതാണ് വേണ്ടത്, അത് ചെയ്യണം. ഏത് പേപ്പർ എടുത്താലും അത് വേണം. പക്ഷെ പബ്ലിക് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷന് ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പർ കുറച്ച് ടഫാണ്, ഞാൻ പറയാം. സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പർ ഈസിയാണ്. സെക്കൻഡ് പേപ്പറിൽ മാർക്സ് സ്കോർ ചെയ്യാം, ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഇല്ല. ഫസ്റ്റ് പേപ്പറിൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം. ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നു, ഒരു റൈറ്റർ പറയുന്ന ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ്, എന്നിട്ട് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് യു ആർ ആസ്ക്ഡ് ടു ക്ലാരിഫൈ ഇറ്റ്, കമന്റ് ഇറ്റ്. For example, development administration is target oriented and time bound എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അത് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് ഒരു വ്യാഖ്യാനിക്കാനുള്ള ഐഡിയ നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ വേണം. അതിന്റെ തിയറി പറഞ്ഞത് ആരെന്നുള്ളത് അറിയണം. അങ്ങനെ ഏത് ആസ്പെക്ട് വായിക്കുമ്പോഴും അതിന്റെ ബേസിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഐഡിയാസ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യണം. ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നല്ല മാർക്ക് സ്കോർ ചെയ്യാം. റൈറ്റ്?
ഓക്കെ സാർ.
താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.